Hunt and her teen sex case.
Sex scandal.
Locked up, all because of a high school romance with another girl who was just 14.
I thought high school was bad. Jail was bad.
Tonight, she's back home, but not home free.
But there's no taking this off.
No.
This is on.
3 years.
3 years?
High school confidential. Plus a trusted teacher ordering her kindergarten students to punish a 6-year-old by hitting him.
Everybody thinks I'm a bad person.
Is she a monster?
The kindergarten cop. And the real cops tonight caught breaking the law, speeding up to 120 miles per hour.
Put your hands out that window right now!
And not in the line of duty.
One of those guys who was going at 80 miles an hour to a donut shop.
This evening, we catch them red-handed in the 2020 speed trap.
Guys, this guy's going 70 in a 45 right now.
Tonight, crossing the line. Here now, David Muir and Elizabeth Vargas.
We begin tonight here with the 2020 exclusive. A simple case of high school love, or was this something else? It's a story we've been following for 6 months now. What one teen says began as an innocent teenage romance, but ended behind bars. The relationship between two high school girls.
We watched Caitlin Hunt as she went to jail, and tonight our cameras were the only ones there as she shed that orange jumpsuit to leave jail and start a new life. So what is she craving now? And does she have a message tonight for those who judged her? ABC's Matt Gutman has the exclusive interview.
It's not your typical Friday night for this teenager. She's not walking out of the movies or some party with friends. This is Caitlin Hunt, walking out of jail just months after walking across the stage at her high school graduation. So why was this teen doing hard time? It all began on Florida's Treasure Coast. Sebastian River High, home of the Sharks. Can't hide that shark pride, they say. But what was hidden in that teenage shark tank called high school? No one is proud of. A sex scandal, felonious love.
Caitlin Hunt and her teen sex case.
Sex scandal.
Lewd and lascivious battery of a child.
Caitlin Hunt was a senior whose crush turned into a crime. Her love improbably landing her in lockup here at the Indian River County Jail.
A criminal relationship never crossed my mind once.
Hunt was an honor student, a choir girl.
I wanna sing, I wanna shout, I wanna scream to the world.
And the team you see tossed in the air by her fellow cheerleaders here was also voted most school spirit. Possessed of a big heart.
It's cute, but it's a video.
Ripe for love.
We had lunch together. We just started hanging out a lot, like in school and talking. We had fun together.
The cheerleader fell for the athlete. At first, just stealing kisses, and then sex in the school bathroom.
I would say we had a really close relationship. We told each other everything.
Although Caitlin was 18 at the time, the person she had sex with was just 14. But it gets much more complicated because this is not a classic Romeo and Juliet story. It's a Juliet and Juliet story. The person 18-year-old Caitlin Hunt says she loved and had sex with was a 14-year-old girl.
She was real funny. She was like that person you could go to if you're having a bad day. She could cheer you up in like 5 minutes. She was just, all around, like, just a good girl.
Caitlin's mother, Kelly, says she knew her daughter was in a same-sex relationship, but didn't realize the other girl was so young.
And did you meet the girlfriend?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What did you think of her?
She was a sweetheart. I liked her. She was very sweet.
Did it ever dawn on you that the difference in age might be a dangerous thing?
I did not know the girl was 14. I had no idea she was a freshman. She looks older than my daughter.
Something else she says she did not know, the younger girl ran away from home one night and had a sleepover with Caitlin in her home. Eventually, it was a coach who revealed the relationship to the younger girl's parents. The next day, they and their 14-year-old daughter were in the sheriff's office.
Their feeling was that the relationship was unhealthy and inappropriate based upon the age of the parties.
Unhealthy and inappropriate, but how do you prove the nature of the relationship was sexual? Crimes Against Children detective Jeremy Shepard, with the help of the younger girl, sets a trap to confirm Caitlin crossed the line.
Tell me how you decided to do this controlled phone call with the victim.
That is a procedure that we often use in cases like this in order to attempt to get the victim to get a confession from the suspect for us.
Like, you're my first person I ever had sex with, like, so I mean, like, that's an attachment, you know? Like, does that mean anything to you?
Obviously, it means really to me.
This is where sweet love soured. In the state of Florida, even consensual sex between an 18-year-old and a 14-year-old is illegal. Caitlin was arrested.
They had her in handcuffs in the driveway.
Put into a police cruiser. What's going through your mind?
I don't even know. Just I was so shocked. You know, I was scared to death because she was so scared to death.
I'm Detective Shepard with the Sheriff's Office.
In an interrogation room, Caitlin is questioned, asked about intimate details most people would want to discuss with their best friend, much less a police officer.
Would you say the first time y'all had sex was before Christmas or after Christmas?
After.
Okay.
When we met Caitlin at the Indian River County Jail, we expected to meet a bubbly teenager. But after 2 months in lockup, the high-spirited girl was gone. This Caitlin appeared stunned, nearly speechless, still a bit bewildered by the whirlwind that landed her here.
So you literally didn't know that you were breaking the law?
No, I really didn't know. I wouldn't have continued if I really knew what the laws were and if I knew what I was getting myself into.
Authorities charged Caitlin with 2 counts of lewd or lascivious battery. Those are felonies.
I don't think that either one of these girls thought that anything that they did was wrong.
I understand that Caitlin is 18. I'm well aware that she's 18, but in no way, shape, or form is that child an adult.
After her arrest, Caitlin was released on bail. The judge set a condition. She could not contact her young girlfriend. But the peppy cheerleader and choir girl who dreamed of studying nursing was now facing a severe penalty for her forbidden romance. A criminal record, sex offender status, and a maximum prison sentence of 30 years.
Voted most school spirit?
Yeah.
And then you're in jail.
I know. It's like something you think you would never go through. I felt like my senior year was like ruined.
Did she ever tell you about her sexuality?
Not outrightly, not like, hey, I am gay, or hey, I'm a lesbian, or hey, I'm bisexual. We never had that conversation.
Her mother claiming the prosecutor and the younger girl's family were motivated in part by an anti-gay bias. On Facebook, she aired her daughter's Shakespearean lament, writing of the younger girl's parents. They were out to destroy my daughter. They feel like my daughter made their daughter gay. The family then came up with this line: "Stop the hate, free Kate."
I needed everybody to know what was going on, and for someone else to say, you were right. Like, this is absolutely crazy and wrong.
Gay rights activists and others grabbed this digital gauntlet and rallied behind Caitlin and her family.
If they can play on the same basketball team together, they should be able to date. It's ridiculous.
Supporters donated tens of thousands of dollars. A petition against the prosecution got more than 300,000 signatures online. And this past summer, Caitlin flew to New York to march in the world's largest annual gay pride parade.
What does it feel like to, in some ways, become this icon of the gay community?
It's pretty awesome because, the support from that community is just overwhelming, but nice at the same time.
I'm scared of losing my life, the rest of my life, not being able to go to college and be around kids and my sisters and my family.
If Caitlin were Kyle, how different would this be?
My honest opinion is it would not be an issue.
The prosecutor offered Caitlin a plea deal. It included no jail time. She rejected the offer, insisting she did nothing wrong. She wanted a trial to prove her innocence.
Tell me what you were fighting for.
Equality, justice.
When we come back, a shocking reversal. 20,000 reasons Caitlin Hunt landed right back in jail. And her parents thrown into a tailspin over a phone call from their daughter.
Just hang in there, just calm down.
Behind bars and desperate. And what about the other parents? We'll hear how they have suffered and their surprising views about the relationship that became a crime. Stay with us.
"2020 returns. Once again, Matt Gutman.
Free Kate became the nationwide rallying cry from Caitlin Hunt's army of supporters, coming to her side as her trial loomed.
There has been a massive campaign all week on her behalf.
The Pepe, Florida high school senior, had been arrested for having a sexual relationship with a 9th grader, a 14-year-old girl.
Did you love her?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I loved her a lot. I was like my best friend, too, you know.
Serious jail time because
she's not a predator. She's not a pedophile. She's this beautiful, smart, talented girl.
Caitlin Hunt's family and supporters complained loudly that anti-gay bigotry was driving the prosecution, bias on the part of the state and the younger girl's parents. Those supposedly bigoted, biased parents, Jim and Lori Smith.
She definitely took our daughter's innocence away in a way that should not have been done.
When they were informed their daughter was involved with an 18-year-old, they say they don't even remember being told it was an 18-year-old girl.
18? My daughter's only 14. She's not allowed to date yet. I knew that my daughter wasn't emotionally mature enough for any 18-year-old.
If Caitlin had been a Kyle, would it have made a difference to you?
If it was Kyle, it still would have been wrong.
But the Hunts dug in. Caitlin rejected plea offers that would have let her avoid jail. She and her family insisting that she was the victim because of her sexual preference.
You know, I just think it's so wrong. I just want to do everything I can, everything I can to beat it. And to win and get her, have her life back, our lives back.
The Smiths say they want their lives back too. Lives they say have been threatened in menacing phone calls for people on the sidelines watching the case play out on television.
Your involvement in the prosecution of Caitlin Hunt means that I'm going to have to come and murder you.
They've been accused of being anti-gay.
But what if your daughter came to you and said, Mom, Dad, I'm gay?
We've asked her that, and we've talked about it, and it's not really the issue for us.
She's our daughter. We're going to love her no matter what. We're going to love her till the day we die.
They told me today that they would accept their daughter, whatever her sexuality might be. Do you think that's true?
No, I do not. I think that's a lie. I've always thought it was a gay issue for them.
And the time the young girl ran away and wound up, as they would later discover, in the bedroom of Caitlin Hunt. The girl's parents say that was one of the worst days of their lives.
Lori, of all the things that we've talked about, your daughter going missing seems to be the thing that is most painful to you. Why?
I thought someone had come and taken her, and my only thought was I should have been there. I'm supposed to take care of her. This is my baby.
But the Smith family had not heard the last of Caitlin Hunt. In spite of the judge's order forbidding any contact whatsoever, police say Caitlin had been exchanging text messages with the other girl, more than 20,000 texts, sending her nude and lewd photos and videos of herself, and most damning, there was intimate physical contact.
I wonder if you feel that you've made a mistake here.
I made a mistake. Do I think I made a mistake by dating someone in high school that I went to school with and I played basketball with? No. I don't think I made a mistake.
Do you think you made a mistake by sending her 20,000 text messages, including nude pictures of yourself?
Yeah, I think that was a mistake.
But you kept up the contact, even though you knew you shouldn't. Why?
I needed closure. I felt like I had none when that first happened in February. You know, I was like forced to stop talking and forced to stop dating, and I just got wrapped up.
20,000 text messages. Nude pictures. Videos.
I think Caitlin Hunt forced our daughter to stay in this relationship when our daughter didn't want to be in this relationship.
The judge ordered Hunt to wait out the rest of her time before trial in the county jail. The girl who dreamed of being a songbird, she now finds herself growing older as a jailbird. Her hard times obvious during our interview with her parents when Caitlin called from lockup.
Okay, relax. Relax. Tell me what's going on. It's okay, calm down. I know, calm down, honey. Calm down.
Kelly Hunt says Caitlin was upset fellow inmates were harassing her. The parents try to put on a brave face for their daughter, but afterward, they can't hide their pain.
I'm so sorry. I don't think anybody can imagine what you're going through.
You can't. I mean, I just can't really describe it. It's so horrible. She's just a little kid, you know?
When you think of Caitlin Hunt, do you think of her as a kid, like your daughter, or do you think of her as an adult?
I honestly think of her as a child. I think that if she was an adult and she thought like an adult, then this would not have happened.
Should it be legal for someone who is 18, regardless of sex, to be with someone who is 14?
It's a tough question, and I don't know if there's a right answer. What I know is that two teenage girls in high school that consent to a relationship, they shouldn't be felons for it.
Would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Ultimately, there would be no trial for Caitlin Hunt. In October, she accepted a plea deal that would keep her behind bars for a total of 4 months, followed by 2 years of house arrest and a long probation.
Hi.
We are there in the central booking room where Caitlin is being processed for her release after spending 120 days in jail. The now 19-year-old finally returning to her once spirited self, looking forward to 2 things: fast food.
I really want salty fries from McDonald's.
And family.
How's my mom? She's excited.
But first, ever-present reminders of her felony offense, a parole officer, and an ankle bracelet monitoring all of her movements.
Deviation from your schedule and approved travel is a violation of your supervision if it's not approved.
Outside the jail, Caitlin's family and friends gather for the big moment.
I just want my baby girl to come home.
I can't believe it's you. I'm like gonna stay in shock still.
When the family finally arrives home, the first hugs in 4 months.
Oh, I didn't think she was gonna be like this at all.
I'm home.
As long as I'm home with my family, I get to see everybody every day, and then I think I'll be okay.
Then, a special delivery.
Oh God, let me smell it.
A happy meal for a girl happy to be home.
So how does it feel to be back?
Oh my gosh, I love it. I'm so excited. It's like not even real. You know, I thought high school was bad. Jail was bad.
You said that you didn't regret it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still feel the same way?
Yeah, I do. You know, I feel like everything happens for a reason. You go through things in life for a reason, you know, so I might not know what the reason is now, but I will, you know, one day.
You have new bracelets.
Oh, I've had them.
You've had them, but this
Yeah.
one's new. But there's no taking this off.
No.
How long is it?
3 years.
3 years?
Yeah.
Has this turned you off women?
No. No. I'm still with my girlfriend, my recent girlfriend, so.
Not that girlfriend, a new one, 27-year-old LT. The two have become inseparable. As for her former freshman flame, Caitlin insists they've had no communication since she was released.
No, nothing.
Nope.
Like it never happened.
Yep.
How do you feel about that?
Pretty happy about it. You know, I just want to put it all behind me, you know. I want to stay out of trouble, I want to do the right thing, and then get it over with. So I can move on with my life.
The Smiths say their daughter is moving on too, focusing on schoolwork and sports. A relationship called out of bounds cost them so much. One lost her innocence, the other her freedom. Both lost their love.
If you had been one of those parents, how would you have reacted? And was all that time behind bars fair? Let us know on Twitter. Use the hashtag ABC2020. And wait until you see what's coming up next here tonight. Cops, and this time, they're the ones getting pulled over. Caught in our 2020 speed trap.
Next, our man Matt Gutman in a Dodge Challenger chasing down speeding lawbreakers. The cops themselves.
He just did 3 lanes without using his blinkers, ladies and gentlemen.
More Crossing the Line coming up. Crossing the Line continues. Once again, Matt Gutman on the hunt for speeding cops who kill.
So this guy's going well over 80 right now.
So there I was, humming down a highway in a Dodge Challenger, trying to chase down a speeding North Carolina state trooper.
Right there. You guys, this guy's going 70 in a 45 right now.
How'd I get here? Well, it all started when we first saw this video. It's a Florida state trooper in hot pursuit of a motorist, flying up I-95 at speeds of up to 120 miles per hour. But this is no ordinary speed demon. It's a Miami-Dade police officer.
It is a Miami police.
The cop ignores the trooper's lights and sirens and tears across lanes of traffic. Finally, 7 minutes later, he pulls over. Believing that only a criminal in a stolen car could drive so recklessly, the trooper approaches with gun drawn.
Put your hands out that window right now! Put your hands out the window!
What's the big need for speed? Turns out the cop was running late for his off-duty job as a security guard.
And I had to get there by 7 o'clock, and I didn't think I was going to make it.
And we discovered this guy isn't some kind of lone wolf. All around the country, families have learned the painful way that speeding cops can kill. To be clear, we're not talking about police responding to an emergency with lights and sirens on. And when cops just gun it, the results can be lethal. Take a look at this. It's 2:15 a.m. on this Connecticut road. The Milford Police Department car speeding in a 40-mile-per-hour zone. Suddenly, another cruiser rockets past at 94 miles per hour and rams into a passenger car. Killed in the accident were two 19-year-old sweethearts, Ashley Krakowski, a high school hockey star with dreams of becoming a nurse, and David Servit, a talented musician who planned to go to business school.
When we found out what exactly happened, it was unbelievable.
Did it make it hurt worse once you learned that it was a police officer who hit them?
I was disgusted that it was a police officer. You see them racing around all the time, and this time they didn't get away with it.
So why do cops speed?
Because they can.
Justin Hobson is a former New Jersey state trooper who wrote a book on corruption in his agency called Breaking the Blue Wall.
And when they're speeding, where are they going?
Home, lunch, meeting another police officer. It's a mentality of, hey, I have a badge and the ability to go as fast as I need to go.
The problem's gotten so out of hand, some motorists are striking back, catching speeding cops in the act. Here, a caravan of hot rods and a joyride down a New Jersey highway at speeds of over 100 miles per hour. A New Jersey state trooper suddenly appears. He's going to put a stop to this, right? Wrong. He shoots ahead of them to lead the way. That Pied Piper of sports cars was suspended. This angry motorcyclist with the helmet cam turns vigilante and takes off after a fast-moving police cruiser just to prove how fast he's going. Folks, don't try this at home.
I'm going 20 miles an hour over the speed limit right now.
But none of the highway video Avengers can match Ron Carr of Raleigh, North Carolina. After getting his hair blown back by lead-footed lawmen once too often, Carr linked his vehicle with cameras to expose what he calls rampant hypocrisy.
Now watch this guy. You or I would get a ticket for doing what he's doing right now.
Yes, they're fast, and he's furious.
Who polices the police? What does it take for an officer to be charged?
Right. Carr's now posting his greatest hits on, what else? His own YouTube channel.
I figure the more videos that I have, then folks will realize that it is a common problem.
But it's a problem that police departments seem reluctant to acknowledge. Going back to that terrible Connecticut crash, the officer involved was convicted and sentenced to 10 years in prison, though he's currently free as he appeals. The families of those two young victims wanted to uncover the scale of the problem, so they sued the police, demanding to see all dashcam video from the previous 2 years.
We wanted to know, was there a culture of speeding? Was this an isolated incident that you could forgive a little more easily?
The families did receive 500 dashcam clips, including footage of an officer on a call racing at 113 miles per hour in a 45 zone. He was suspended. But then Milford PD claimed it accidentally deleted another 2,000 dashcam clips. 2,000 clips? An accident? The family isn't buying that.
There appeared to be quite a culture of speeding to the extent that Milford finally destroyed the tapes.
Former Trooper Hobson says it's almost unheard of for cops to crack down on each other over speeding.
If you do so, you're deemed a stool pigeon, and there's ramifications for doing that.
Want proof? Then turn back to that video of Florida Trooper Donna Watts. Remember, she pulled over a Miami police officer who was later fired from his department and is now trying to get his job back. But Watts says she was the one ultimately punished. After the incident, she started receiving threatening phone calls and spotting strange police vehicles in front of her home. She's now suing the cops who were snooping on her, claiming the harassment made her life hell, prompting her to leave road patrol, even her home.
Don't you think it's a little hypocritical that police officers go 85 miles an hour and they would clearly pull someone like me over?
So what's the big hurry?
There he is, right there.
We set up our own speed trap to find out just who these speeding cops are. And just where they're headed. Are they chasing down crooks or a cup of joe?
2020 returns. Once again, Matt Gutman.
North Carolina's home to some of NASCAR's fastest drivers. But this isn't the Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's a stretch of I-40 near downtown Raleigh, where 2020 will turn the tables on the cops by setting up our very own speed trap.
We're going to be along this road.
The objective, following speeding cops to their final destinations
to all be on walkie-talkies
and get some answers. We deploy our surveillance team, starting with Ron Carr. Remember, he's the guy who's been documenting speeding cops in Raleigh for months now. His job is to alert us of any fast-moving squad car heading our way.
White Dodge Charger, left lane. Actually, he's running hot.
To accurately measure how fast any suspected speeding cops are traveling,
3, 2, 1, mark.
We set up 2 checkpoints.
3, 2, 1, mark.
The plan is if we confirm cops are speeding, we'll spring our trap, deploying my chase car to tail them wherever they're going. Even though we chose something with some hefty horsepower, we don't want to get busted for speeding ourselves. So in case we lose them...
Where did he go?
We brought in the Air Cavalry, a 2020 helicopter equipped with an aerial surveillance camera. Those cops can run, they can't hide from our eye in the sky. The 2020 speed trap is set, and it's not long till this cruiser flies by our checkpoints at 75 miles per hour. Mark, that's 10 over the limit. No lights, no sirens. By the time the cruiser reaches us in the chase car, we estimate it's picked up even more speed.
It's going about 85. It's hard for us to catch up.
My chase car is left in the dust, but luckily, our chopper team gets us right back on track.
We're on it. Chopper's on it.
It says SBI Crime Lab.
We're able to follow the car to its final destination and confront the lead-footed driver.
Matt Gutman from ABC News.
Hi.
How you been?
I'm good.
Good. We were watching you on I-40.
Okay.
We're going about 85 miles an hour.
Okay.
Wondering what you think about that.
I don't really have a comment.
You don't have a comment?
No.
It's hardly an emergency. The officer is just dropping off evidence at the state crime lab.
Don't you think it's a little hypocritical that police officers go 85 miles an hour and they would clearly pull someone like me over? That would upset people. Isn't what you're supposed to do, to some extent, serve as an example of how people should drive?
So stand by, this guy's moving.
Astonishingly, the cops kept coming, zooming by us, smashing speed laws to take care of,
I got him,
non-emergency business.
He's cooking.
Like the sheriff's deputy who hits 85 miles per hour, that's 20 over the limit. We're able to follow the deputy all the way downtown, where we discover there's no emergency. She was just apparently late for an appointment at the courthouse.
All right, she is pulling into the official intake vehicles only. We can't do that.
He's running hot.
Same story with another sheriff's vehicle that we clock at 82 miles per hour.
He's going so fast.
He was going 82. Stay on him. Chopper, stay on him. Everybody stay on him.
He's moving too fast for me to keep up with.
Oh, man, we just lost him.
Finally, our trusty chopper again comes to the rescue and puts us back on his tail. The officer leads us on a merry, slow-speed chase through Raleigh's downtown streets.
He's going around in circles. He is aware we're following him. I think he's trying to shake us.
He finally comes to a stop at the federal courthouse.
We're from ABC News. We noticed that on I-40 over there, you were going about 82, 85. Wondering if you were on an emergency call. We didn't see the flashers.
Pick up a federal prisoner and take him back to Escombe County.
I don't know, if I went 81 or 82, you'd probably pull me over.
I would.
You think your superior would mind that you were going that fast?
Would he mind? Probably.
2, 1, mark. But not all of the cops we caught speeding were on official business. Check out this officer cruising by at 79 miles per hour. Our helicopter crew tracks him as he exits the highway and follows him to, you're not gonna believe this, a donut shop. And Dunkin' Donuts wasn't the only eye-opening destination we discovered marked the course of our surveillance op. Check out this highway patrol SUV speeding at 75 miles per hour. I see him. By the time he gets to us in the chase car, we estimate he's going even faster.
So this guy's going well over 80 right now, the middle lane.
Tearing across lanes just to get to his exit.
Oh, wow, he did 3 lanes at once. He did 3 lanes without using his blinkers, ladies and gentlemen.
We're able to catch up on a local road, but again, he punches the accelerator.
You guys, this guy's going 70 at a 45 right now.
We finally find out where the trooper was headed in such an all-fire hurry. Incredibly, he was speeding just to get to the Highway Patrol Training Academy. This place even has its own driver's training course.
So, we're doing a story about speeding cops, and we noticed you were going about, I don't know, 80 miles an hour on the highway, and then about 75 and a 45. We had a hard time keeping up with you.
Yeah, I was trying to get over here this morning.
The concern is that, you know, police officers speeding, a lot of folks want to see you set an example, and if you're going about 15, 20 miles over the speed limit, there might be some concern.
I understand what you're saying.
If you're wondering what subject this officer teaches here, take a look at his shirt. Yep, that's right. He's a driving instructor.
Gentlemen, how are you?
Time to get some answers. We walk into the training academy with cameras rolling.
Let me get you to step inside.
Sure.
But none of the supervisors on site are willing to talk.
You're not even curious about what your guys are doing, the guys who are speeding to get here to work for you?
Sir, I'm not even at liberty to discuss this with you.
Later, after we've left North Carolina, a spokesman for the Highway Patrol tells us they've launched an investigation into what we found.
We went ahead and started looking into this matter, and we're going to handle it accordingly.
Do you find it outrageous that one of the people we found driving most recklessly seemed to be a driving instructor?
That's not a good thing. It kind of paints the wrong type of message. We are dealing with that individual.
But in Connecticut, what we found during our surveillance operation came as no surprise to the families of teenagers Ashley Krakowski and David Servit, who lost their lives because of a speeding cop.
It tore our hearts out. They did, and it could be anybody's kid, anybody's child, and it's the worst thing you could ever happen to you.
And our hearts go out to both of those families. Have you seen speeding police officers? Let us know on Twitter. Use the hashtag ABC2020. David and I will be right back.
Next, kindergarten students lining up to hit a 6-year-old.
How many kids did it?
21. And you're not going to believe who they say gave the go-ahead. Their teacher.
Ding, ding, ding.
More Crossing the Line coming up.
The mob has a phrase for it, ordering a hit. But that recently took on an all-new meaning when a Texas teacher was accused of ordering kids to literally hit a fellow student, a 6-year-old. Who will you believe, the teacher or the kids? Here's John Quinones.
Were you loud at the kids?
I'm loud.
Cynthia Ambrose is a kindergarten teacher who earned a reputation for being the enforcer at Salinas Elementary in San Antonio. Known for the cup of ice chips that she kept on her desk, some say she was just as infamous for a kind of ice water coursing through her veins.
Were you tough on the kids?
If they were in trouble, timeout.
But now it's the teacher who's being given the timeout for the first time in her 11-year career for an incident that would not only cost her her job, but land her in a court of law.
Do you miss those kids in the classroom?
So bad.
She was very mean to everybody. All the kids were scared of her.
She misunderstood what was appropriate in disciplining a child.
How would you describe her?
As having crossed a line that no teacher should cross.
It was supposed to be a teachable moment, and it just, backfired on me.
Aiden Neely may not look like a bully as he tackles those monkey bars, but that's exactly how school officials painted him when he attended kindergarten at Salinas Elementary back in May of 2012.
Hey, buddy. How are you?
Good.
I'm John.
When I recently met Aiden, he was by all appearances a polite, poised, perfectly behaved little boy.
When you grow up, what do you want to be?
A football player.
Football player.
But back on that spring morning, Aiden's teacher, Barbara Ramirez, received complaints that Aiden was bullying other students. So she took him directly to Cynthia Ambrose for a healthy dose of her trademark tough love.
Ms. Ramirez walked into my classroom upset, talking about how he had punched some girls and kicked some boys. And I was like, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to scare him?
In keeping with her M.O., Ambrose takes discipline to a whole new level. She stands Aiden in front of the class and makes an outrageous appeal to her students.
I turned around and said, well, does everybody want to show what it feels like? Expecting a yes, you know, and I would turn to Aiden and say, would you like your friends to hit you?
Sure enough, a student took the dare, and suddenly 6-year-old Aiden was under assault.
It happened so freaking fast that next thing I know, I hear this hit.
Aiden's mom, Amy, is horrified by what she says happens next.
Ms. Ambrose took it upon herself to have her kids line up and hit Aiden. Some in the face, some in the back, some on his head. He said some hit him twice.
Word spread, and Ambrose suddenly found herself in the principal's office.
He had to call HR, and that's when I started crying, and because I knew I was done.
An angry mother hit back.
My stomach was in knots.
But the boy's mom says that is not enough.
Talking to any news organization that would listen.
This teacher is going to be back in the school system and teaching other children.
Ambrose was ultimately suspended and left Salinas Elementary. But that wasn't enough for District Attorney Susan Reed.
We have not had a case like this before. And I felt it was imperative that the state speak up about it.
In June, Ambrose was put on trial, accused of encouraging multiple students to hit Aiden that day. But if you think Ambrose was about to fall on her sword, think again.
How many kids hit him?
That I know of, one.
Only one? That's a far cry from what Aiden Neely would tell a sympathetic jury. He was the prosecution's star witness.
Do you remember other kids getting up and slapping you in the back?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember how many kids did it?
I think like 21.
The prosecution also called the only other adult eyewitness, that teacher who brought Aiden to Ambrose's class that day, Barbara Ramirez, and she had her own damning account.
And that's when she asked, she said, come on, boys and girls, let's line up and let's bully Aiden.
Did Miss Ambrose say anything when she saw the students hitting Aiden?
That's when she said, come on, let's hit him harder.
Did you say those things?
No.
Not expecting them to do that.
No.
You're sorry you said that.
Big time. I wish I could take them back.
Is Cynthia now lying?
Yes, she scared him. She humiliated him.
No chance that this could have been misconstrued, that maybe it was a misunderstanding by a kindergarten student?
I think the misunderstanding was on the part of Miss Ambrose. She misunderstood what was appropriate in disciplining a child.
During the trial, Ambrose says she'd visit the church adjacent to the courthouse, the once unbending disciplinarian on bended knee.
Everybody kept praying and saying, you know, have faith in God. The truth will come out.
But the truth in the jury's eyes took less than an hour to find. After only 36 minutes of deliberation, they found Cynthia Ambrose